What if I told you that you're being judged in the first 7 seconds before you even speak? This is just one of 10 powerful secrets to communication that can permanently change your income, your career, and your life. If you're ready to master all 10, subscribe now and click the notification bell so you never miss another life-changing lesson. Have you ever noticed that when someone communicates really well, when they speak with power, with clarity, and with a kind of charm, they seem to get better jobs? They often earn higher salaries. They attract better opportunities, and they seem to command respect whether they are in the office, at a party, or in any room they enter. And sometimes we meet people who look very ordinary. They are not movie stars. They are not billionaires, not famous at all. They are just simple people. But when they begin to speak, we feel something different. Their words feel like they have weight. Their presence feels magnetic. We enjoy talking to them, don't we? We feel good when we are around them, and we want to meet them again. Why does this happen? It happens because communication is the real superpower. Communication is the real beauty. Now listen carefully to this. If you want to have a strong personality, a personality that people admire, that they respect, and that they remember, you must understand one golden idea. Speak good. Speak well. Speak clearly. And what does that mean? It means that when you open your mouth, your words should have a purpose. They should be arranged beautifully, like flowers in a garden. They should be clear, like crystal. It means you should think before you speak, and you should create a little space for your thoughts to form. Remember this simple truth: a clear mind plus clear words equals a powerful personality. In this video, I will give you 10 solid tips. These tips are practical, they are actionable, and they are easy to practice. These are not boring theories from a book. These are real techniques that will bring you real results. I can promise you, if you stay with me until the end of this video, and if you practice what I am about to share, your communication skills will change forever. That is a 100% guarantee. And guess what? Watching this video will not only improve your communication skills, but it will also help you improve your English listening and speaking at the same time. So please make sure you watch until the very end. And if you enjoy our time together, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more life-changing content like this. Let's begin. Let's transform. Tip number 1 is to say something without saying anything at all. Now, this is a very powerful idiom, and very few people truly know about it. According to psychology, people form their first impression of you in just 7 seconds. Yes, only 7 seconds. Before you even open your mouth to say hello, people have already decided about 70% about you. They have decided if you are confident, if you are intelligent, if you are likable, if you are trustable or not. How crazy is that? So what does this mean for us? It means you are speaking even when you are not speaking. Your body language, the expression on your face, your eye contact, your smile, the way you hold your shoulders, your energy. All of it is already communicating a powerful message to the world. Let me give you a powerful real-life example. Imagine 2 candidates are sitting in a waiting room for a job interview. They are both waiting to be called. Both of them have the same degree from the same university, and they have the same skills on paper. One candidate is sitting slouched in his chair, looking down at his phone. He looks bored, maybe a little tired. The other candidate is sitting up straight, his shoulders are relaxed, and he has a gentle, calm smile on his face. He has a positive energy. Now, who do you think the interviewer will like more, even before asking the very first question? Of course it will be the second candidate, but why? It is because his nonverbal communication, his body language, has already said, "I am confident. I am professional. I respect myself, and I respect others. Your body often speaks much louder than your words. Here is what you should always remember. When you walk into a room, walk in with a feeling of confidence, even if you are scared deep inside. Try to smile naturally. Not a big fake smile, but a gentle and warm one. Keep your back straight as it shows strength and self-respect. Make eye contact with people. It shows that you are honest and you want to make a connection. And try to avoid fidgeting, like playing with your hands or tapping your foot. That often shows you are nervous. If you can master this 7-second rule, you will win half of the battle before you even speak. Because people feel your energy first, and only then do they listen to your words. Tip number 2 is storytelling. Now please listen carefully to this. If you want to capture people's hearts, if you want to inspire their minds, and if you want to be memorable, you need to master the art of storytelling. Storytelling is the king of all communication. Why? Because facts tell, but stories sell. When you tell a story, people listen naturally. They lean in. They connect with you emotionally. And they remember the story for a very long time. For example, imagine you are trying to teach someone the importance of hard work. You could just say, "Hard work is very important." It's a fact, but it's boring and it's forgettable. Or you could tell them a short story. You could say, "Let me tell you about a boy named Sam." Sam came from a very small village. In his home, there was no electricity and there was no internet. But every single night he studied under a flickering streetlight because he had a big dream. He wanted to become a doctor. The other people in his village sometimes laughed at him. They said he was dreaming too big. But 10 years later, that same boy Sam saved the life of the very people who once mocked him. Now, which one of those two examples will touch the heart more? Which one will stay in your memory longer? Of course, it is the story. That is the incredible power of storytelling. So in any situation, whether you are giving a speech in a big meeting, or teaching something to a child, or just making a point in a conversation with a friend, try to use stories. Use real-life examples. Paint a picture in the listener's mind. Our human brains are wired for stories. It goes back to ancient times when people sat around campfires under the stars and shared wisdom through stories. Remember to make your story short but emotional. Add a little bit of struggle, and then add a little bit of victory. Make the listener see themselves in the story. If you can become a good storyteller, people will love talking to you. They will love listening to you and learning from you. And not just that, you will become truly unforgettable. Tip number 3 is empathy. If you want to become a master communicator, if you want people to trust you, to like you, and to open up to you, then you must develop one magical quality. And that quality is empathy. What is empathy? Empathy means feeling what other people feel. It is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. It's about listening with your heart, not just with your ears. Why is empathy so important for communication? Because when people feel that you truly understand them, they feel safe around you. They begin to trust you. They respect you. And they open their heart to you. Without empathy, our communication becomes dry, cold, and meaningless. It's just empty words. Let's understand this with a powerful example. Imagine you are telling your friend about a problem you have at work. You are feeling very stressed, and you feel alone. One friend listens for a moment and then immediately says, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's nothing, just forget it." He didn't really listen, did he? He didn't really care about your feelings. But another friend looks at you carefully. He listens patiently without interrupting. He nods his head gently, And then he says, "I can see how stressful that must be for you. It sounds really tough to feel like that at work. You're not alone in this, and I'm here if you want to talk more about it." Now tell me, whom would you feel closer to? Whom would you trust more? Whom would you want to keep as a friend in your life? Of course, it's the second friend, because his empathy created a real connection. So how can you show empathy when you are communicating? First, listen actively. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Really, truly listen. Second, acknowledge their feelings. You don't always have to fix their problem. Sometimes it's enough just to show that you understand. You can use words that show understanding, like, "I can imagine how that feels," or "It sounds like you're going through a lot," or simply, "Thank you for sharing that with me." And finally, be present. Put away your phone, turn off the distractions, and give them your full attention. Here's a real-world bonus for you. In sales and leadership, in all of our relationships, the people who succeed the most are not the ones who talk the most. They are the ones who listen with empathy. Because when you make someone feel truly understood, you win their heart forever. Tip number 4 is about the sweetest sound. One of the greatest secrets of powerful communication was beautifully said by Dale Carnegie, the famous author of How to Win Friends and Influence People. He said, "A person's name is to that person the sweetest sound in any language." And yes, it is absolutely true. When you use someone's name correctly during a conversation, you instantly make them feel special. You make them feel seen and important. But why? Why is a name so powerful? Because a name is not just a word. It is a person's identity. It holds their childhood memories, the sound of their family's voice, their sense of who they are. When you say someone's name warmly, you are touching their soul, not just their ears. Imagine this. You walk into a busy Starbucks. There is music playing, people are chatting, and the wonderful smell of fresh coffee is everywhere. You go to the counter to order your drink. You say, "Hi, I'll have a caramel macchiato. My name is Daniel." The cashier smiles and notes it down. 5 minutes later, you are standing near the counter with 10 other people all waiting for their drinks. The barista looks around, holds up a cup, and calls out with a bright, energetic voice, "Caramel macchiato for Daniel." "Have an awesome day, Daniel." At that moment, you feel a little spark inside. You're not just an order number. You're not just another face in the crowd. You feel seen. You feel remembered. And you know what? It's such a small thing, just using your name, but it makes the whole experience feel personal, friendly, and positive. You might even smile back and think to yourself, "I like coming here. These people are nice." That is the hidden magic of a name. In business meetings, in friendships, in interviews, whenever you use someone's name genuinely, they feel important. They feel a connection to you. And once people feel connected to you, then opportunities, trust, and success will naturally follow. Here is an important tip about this use: names naturally not every 2 sentences. That can sound strange. Use it when you are greeting someone while you are making an important point, and when you are closing a conversation. Use it with warmth, not with force. Always remember, in a world where everyone wants attention, simply remembering and using someone's name can make you unforgettable. Tip number 5 is emotional intelligence. This tip is life-changing. If you can truly master this one, you will rise higher in your relationships in business, in leadership, and in every part of your life. What is emotional intelligence? It is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions and to understand and influence the emotions of other people. And what is the most powerful part of emotional intelligence? It is learning to respond, not to react. What's the difference? Reacting is automatic. It's emotional and impulsive. but responding is thoughtful, calm, and intelligent. Imagine you are in a meeting at work. Someone criticizes your idea in front of everyone. If you react, you might get angry. Your face turns red, you feel hot, and you say something rude back to them. Now you look bad. You look emotional and unprofessional. But if you respond, you stay calm. You take a slow, deep breath and you say, "Thank you for your feedback. I'll think more about that, and maybe we can discuss some improvements together later." What is the result? You look strong. You look mature. You win respect, and you build bridges instead of walls. Let's take a personal example, something that might happen at home. Your partner says something hurtful to you during an argument. You feel hurt, and you feel angry. If you react immediately, you might scream. You might say hurtful things back. And now the fight becomes much worse. But if you take a breath, if you stay silent for just a few seconds, and then you say calmly, "I'm feeling very hurt right now. Let's talk about this when we both feel calmer." What have you done? You have protected your relationship. You are being wise, not weak. So how can you build your emotional intelligence and learn to respond instead of react? First, pause before you speak. Always. Even a pause of 3 seconds can change everything. Second, name your emotion. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Am I angry? Sad, insecure? Just labeling the emotion can give you power over it. And third, ask yourself, what is the best way to respond that serves the situation? And my bigger goal. Remember, winning a small argument in the moment is useless if you lose a valuable relationship in the process. Leaders. Great speakers and excellent communicators are all emotionally intelligent. They stay calm even when there is pressure. They choose their words carefully. They stay centered even when storms are raging around them. Emotional intelligence equals inner strength plus outer influence. Tip number 6 is the echoing technique. If you want to become an unforgettable communicator, you must master the simple art of echoing. What is the echoing technique? It means you repeat a small part of what the other person just said. But you do it in a natural and warm way. Why does this simple trick work so well? It works because it shows the other person that you are truly listening. It shows them that you care about what they are saying, and it invites them to share more. It makes the speaker feel deeply understood, and it encourages them to open up even more. How does it look in real life? Here is example 1. Your friend says to you, "I've been feeling so stressed at work lately." You can reply by echoing, "Stressed at work." Notice you are not giving advice. You are not trying to fix the problem. You are simply reflecting their feeling back to them. This simple question invites them to continue. They might say, "Yeah, my manager keeps giving me impossible deadlines." And now the conversation deepens all naturally. Here is example 2. Your colleague at work says, "I finally finished that big project after 3 long months." You can echo, 3 months. Wow, that sounds like a massive project. Again, the person will feel encouraged to share more. They might say, "Yes, it was exhausting, but it was so worth it. I learned so much." You just made them feel valued and important, all by using the simple magic of echoing. An important point here, don't repeat everything they say. Just echo a key word or an emotion, and use a warm, curious tone of voice, not a mechanical or robotic one. In negotiations, in sales, and in resolving conflicts, echoing is a hidden superpower. When someone feels that you are truly trying to understand them, they become much more willing to cooperate with you. Tip number 7 is voice modulation. You can have the best words in the world, the most perfect sentences, but if your voice is flat, dull, or robotic, people will quickly lose interest. Your voice is your music. What is voice modulation? Voice modulation means controlling the pitch of your voice high or low, the pace of your voice fast or slow, and the pauses you use, the silent gaps, while you are speaking. This is what makes your communication alive and magnetic. Let's break it down. First, pitch. Pitch is the height of your voice, whether it goes up or down. If you always speak in a high-pitched voice, you can sound anxious or even irritating. If you always speak in a low-pitched voice, you can sound boring and sleepy. Great communicators vary their pitch naturally. Their voice goes higher when they get excited. It goes lower when they are saying something serious. For example, if you are telling a success story, you might use an excited higher tone, and then we won the competition. And then for an emotional part, you might use a lower tone. It wasn't easy. There were nights we almost gave up. Next is pace. Pace is the speed of your speaking. It is how fast or how slow you talk. If you speak too fast all the time, people can feel stressed just listening to you. If you speak too slow all the time, people might feel sleepy. You must learn to change your speed based on your message. For example, you can use a fast pace for excitement. The moment we saw the results, we jumped and screamed and hugged. It was unbelievable. And you can use a slow pace for serious, important points. But deep inside, we knew the real work had just begun. If you can control the speed, you can control the emotions. Finally, there is the pause, the silent power. A pause is a short moment of silence. Pausing after you make a key point makes people absorb your words. It makes them feel suspense. It gives your words more weight and respect. For example, sometimes the smallest decisions can change your entire life. Those little pauses create depth. They pull the audience in. They make your words feel heavier and more powerful. If you watch the top TED Talk speakers, you will see that they have mastered voice modulation. They sound like they are singing a story, not reading a boring script. If you master your voice, you can master people's hearts. Tip number 8 is the broken record technique. Have you ever faced a situation with someone who just won't take no for an answer? Someone who tries to argue endlessly or who pushes you into uncomfortable situations. In cases like these, one of the most powerful communication techniques you can use is the broken record technique. What is it? It is when you calmly repeat your main point again and again without getting emotional until the other person understands that you are serious. Just like an old broken record, it keeps repeating the same line. Why is this technique so powerful? Because it shows that you are firm, but without being aggressive. It protects your boundaries. And it forces the other person to respect your decision. The key is that you must repeat your point calmly, without anger and without sarcasm. Here is example 1. Someone at a party keeps pushing you to drink alcohol, but you don't want to. They say, "Come on, just have one drink." You can say calmly and with a small smile, "No thanks, I'm not drinking tonight." They might say, "Oh, don't be so boring." You stay calm and repeat, "No thanks, I'm not drinking tonight." They might try one more time. Just a little one. And you still calm. Still smiling, say, "No thanks, I'm not drinking tonight." After 2 or 3 times, they will give up. Why? Because you didn't argue. You didn't explain or justify yourself. You just stood your ground calmly and firmly. Here is example 2 from business. In a negotiation, the client demands extra services, but without any extra payment. You can simply repeat, "We would love to help you with that, but that service would require an additional fee." No long arguments, no justifying your prices. Just a calm, professional repetition. Don't fight. Don't explain too much. just repeat your boundary calmly. Over time, people will learn to respect you even more because you stay professional, you stay confident, and you stay in control. Tip number 9 is humor. Humor is not just about telling jokes. It is about bringing a feeling of lightness, warmth, and human connection into your conversations. Why is humor so powerful in communication? Because it breaks tension. It makes people feel comfortable and relaxed around you. It creates an instant bond. It also shows that you are approachable and not arrogant, and it makes your words stick in their memory for a much longer time. If you can make people smile, you can make people trust you. And trust is the foundation of all powerful communication. But using humor doesn't mean you need to become a clown. And it certainly doesn't mean making fun of other people. It's about being light, being relatable, and sometimes it's about being able to laugh at yourself. Imagine you are in a serious job interview. The interviewer asks you, "Tell us about a time you made a mistake." You could answer in a very stiff and nervous way. Or you could lightly smile and say, "Only one mistake, I have a whole collection of them." And then you naturally move into your real serious answer. What happens? The interviewer relaxes. They might even smile. They remember you because you came across as confident and human. Humor created a connection. Or imagine you are in a tough negotiation. The tension is high in the room. Everyone looks very serious. You notice that everyone is drinking black coffee. You could smile and say, "Looking at all this black coffee, I'm guessing we're negotiating caffeine rights today too." People will likely laugh. The tension melts away and the room feels softer. What happens next? Because people are relaxed, they become more open, less defensive, and more willing to listen. Humor disarmed the tension. Maybe you are giving a speech about teamwork. Instead of starting in a very serious way, you could say, "They say that teamwork makes the dream work. Unless the dream is to take a long nap, in which case I probably work better alone." People laugh. They immediately feel connected to you. Your speech becomes more memorable because you weren't just lecturing them. You were sharing and relating with them. So how do you use humor the right way? First, be self-deprecating. Make small, light jokes about yourself, not about others. Second, be situational. Notice funny little things in the environment around you. And third, be natural, not forced, and never ever insult anyone. People who laugh with you will learn to trust you, and people who trust you will follow you. When you use humor smartly, you become unforgettable. And now for our final tip. Tip number 10 is vulnerability. What is vulnerability? Vulnerability means being honest, open, and real about your feelings, your experiences, and your mistakes without pretending that you are perfect. Many people think that vulnerability is a weakness, but in reality, it is your greatest strength. When you show your real self, your true self, people trust you. They connect with you and they respect you even more. Because here is a deep truth about life. Everyone is fighting a silent battle inside. Everyone has struggles. When they see your honesty, when they see your own struggles, they feel less alone. Vulnerability is the bridge that connects two human hearts. Why is vulnerability so powerful? First, it builds instant trust. When you are open with others, they feel safe to be open with you. Second, it makes you relatable. Nobody is perfect. When you show your own struggles, people feel, "You are just like me." Third, it shows incredible confidence. Only a truly strong person can admit their flaws without fear. And finally, it creates a deep emotional impact. When you share your pain, your dreams, or the lessons you've learned, It touches the listener's heart. When people feel your emotions, they will remember you forever. But wait. Vulnerability is not oversharing every detail of your life. It's not crying in every conversation or talking only about your problems. True vulnerability means sharing the right real story at the right time and in the right way to create connection. Not to get pity. Imagine this situation. You are giving a motivational talk. You are up on a big stage, and the audience expects you to be a perfect, successful person. You could stand up tall and say, "I have always been successful. My life is amazing." And people would probably admire you for 5 minutes, but they would not connect with you deeply. Or, you could begin your talk like this. 5 years ago. You could say, "I was completely broken. I had just lost my job. My bank account was empty. And every single morning, I woke up feeling useless. One day, I sat all alone in my tiny kitchen, and I was just looking at a small packet of instant noodles. I realized that was all I could afford to eat for dinner. And I thought to myself, is this what my life has become?" But that night, something deep inside me decided, this is not the end. This is the beginning. Slowly, step by step, I started to rebuild my life. Today, I stand here before you, not because I never fell, but because I learned how to stand up after falling again and again. What happens in the room after you share this? The audience leans forward. Some people might have tears in their eyes. Some might be nodding silently, feeling your pain. And some might be smiling, feeling hope inside them. They will never, ever forget you. Why? Because they saw themselves in your story. You didn't come across as a perfect superhero. You came across as a warrior. And people admire warriors far more than they admire superheroes. Here is a simple step-by-step guide on how to use vulnerability. Smartly. 1. Choose a real moment from your life. A struggle, a fear, or a failure. 2. Be honest, but keep it short and meaningful. 3. Focus on the lesson you learned, not just on the pain. 4. Share it naturally, like you are telling a trusted friend. And 5. End with a feeling of hope. Show how you overcame the challenge. Please remember this: walls keep people out. Vulnerability invites people in. When you dare to be vulnerable, you don't just talk to people's minds, you touch their souls. And touching souls is what makes communication powerful, unforgettable, and viral. Real communication is not mind to mind. It is heart to heart. And only vulnerability can open that door. Communication isn't just about impressing others with your big words. It is about connecting with them on a deeper, more human level. It's about building trust, creating understanding, and making powerful bonds that can last a lifetime. You do not need to be perfect to communicate well. You just need to be authentic, to be present, and to be real. So please practice these 10 tips every single day. And soon, I promise, you will not only change how you speak, you will change how people feel when they listen to you. And that, my friend, is true power. Your words will no longer be just words. They will be inspiring, impactful, and memorable. If you apply these tips, I am confident that you will see the results in your career, in your relationships, and in your self-confidence. And always remember, communication isn't just about what you say, but about how you make others feel when they hear you. So go ahead. Speak with clarity. Speak with confidence, and most importantly, speak with your heart. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing tips on how to master communication and make every single conversation count. Now go out there and speak your truth, because the world is waiting to hear it.